everybody, and welcome back. This is Dominic Copeland, and this is the Ish That Needs to Be Said. Again, if you're just tuning in, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, come with us on this beautiful journey that we've been going on as we traverse through the things that people need to say but seldom do say. The Ish That Needs to Be Said. So we're here to get it done. So now is the time. We are the ones that we've been waiting for. No one else is going to scoop in and save us. There is no cavalry on the way. We are the cavalry. We are the last stand. We are the ones that if it's going to be done, we are the ones to get it done. And the only way that we can do it, my friends, is by being honest and speaking the ish that needs to be said. So let's get it done. Let's get it on. It's time to rise. It's time to rise. It is time to rise. I hope you're feeling me today. I hope you're bringing that energy. A lot of people talk about, oh, that energy. That's not what it's about, but the energy is what it's about. If you can't bring the energy to what you're doing, the focus, the passion, the love, the desire, then my friends, why are you doing it? Why are you waking up out the bed each and every morning? What gets you going? Stop living in the nightmare and start living in the dream. Make the dream a reality. Stop waking up every day wishing that it was Saturday. Make every day Saturday. Make every day a wonderful day. Make every day a day that you want to be a part of, because every day you have the opportunity to do something great, to be something great, to enjoy something great, for great things to come your way. I told you before that we would start doing this. We did it a little bit before, but we're going to continue forward. What is your mantra? What are the things that you speak each and every day to yourself to get you going, to get you alive, to get you rising up? Not just so you're waking up saying, oh, God, what time is it? Oh, I got to do this again. I got to face this nonsense. I got to deal with these people. I don't want to do any of this. And the words that you speak into reality, like they said, be careful what you wish for. The words you speak into reality, sooner than later, or often or not, will become your reality. So if you're saying, I don't want to do this anymore, in some way, shape, form, or fashion, you won't be. But it might not be in the way that you want, my friends. So you have to make a consciously, rarely do we ever say what we want. We always say what we don't want. For the people in the back, I'm going to say that again. Rarely do we ever say what we want, but we always come from the perspective of what we don't want. And if we keep talking about what we don't want, that's exactly what we get. Stop talking about what you don't want. Stop talking about your fears. Stop living in your fears and your worries and your concerns. Live in your possibilities. Live in your future. Live in your wants. Live in your desires. Make that your now. Because that's the only way it's going to come true. It's going to come to fruition. That's the only way you can create it. We, as human beings, have been given a beautiful gift. That we, my friends, we create our reality. Clothes that I'm wearing, the speaker, the water bottle anyway, phone, everything. None of it was here until someone created it in their mind and they made it a reality. That's the gift that we've been given, to create our own world, create our own universe. We just have to use them and realize that we have them and how to use them. So my friends, start focusing on the things that you want. Instead of saying, I don't want to be here anymore, where do you want to be? What do you want to be doing? What do you want to create in your life? What do you want your life to be about? If you woke up tomorrow and life was exactly the way you wanted it to be, exactly the way that you dreamed of it, what would that look like? And then start making that your reality. They talk about building a vision board where you visually you have the things that you want to have in your life and what you want your life to look like and why you want to have them. And every day, that's your anchor chart. You're looking at it. You're anchored to that reality. And sooner or later, you start to bring it to life, to fruition. The things that you want, focus on them instead of focusing on what you don't want and getting more of it. Now's the time. This is the place, and we're the ones. My friends, woo, I'm ready. I'm feeling it. I'm ready to rock and roll. I hope you are too. So again, look at that. The ish that needs to be said. It's a beautiful thing. Come with me on this journey. We're in it together. Let's rock and roll. Hit the like button, subscribe. Let me know what your thoughts are to the things that I'm talking about and things that you feel need to be said that haven't been said, aren't being said the way they should be said. Let's engage in this beautiful, wonderful community. We're all in this together. It's High School Musical time, my friends. We're all in this together because that's the only way we're going to get through it. There's too many forces out there that are looking to tear us asunder. Too many forces out there that are looking to profit from us not being together. So instead of rising, we fall. But we're only falling so that we can get back up again. I'll say that again. We only fall so that we can get back up again. Stronger, better, faster, quicker, smarter. More unrelenting in our pursuit for what we desire out of our life. More unrelenting for the pursuit of what we desire out of our life. You can't stop something in someone that won't be stopped. You can't stop something in someone that refuses to be stopped and keeps working until they find a way. Let's find it together. So, my friends, what am I talking about today? It's the ish that needs to be said. The game ain't the game. I spoke about this a little bit before, but the game ain't the game. You're saying, Don, what does that mean? Game ain't the game. Doesn't even make sense. What are you talking about? I'm talking about the game of life, the game of success, the game of working to get the things that you desire out of life. The game that we're playing is not the game that's being played. We're playing a separate game, and because we're playing that separate game, we're not even playing by the right rules. We don't understand what the rules are to get to where we desire to be in this game called life. Not the way that that it's set up now. I'm going to give you an example of that. We all remember that time, oh so long ago. The ye old times of the great pandemic. Locked away in our houses, devoid of other human contact outside of your family, zooming ourselves away, having to find other ways to connect with the world. We're thankful that Zoom was there, having to find other ways to have that human connection. There's many things that happened during the pandemic that illustrate that the game ain't the game. The game we're playing is just not the same. One of them is the stock market. Stock market. There's a few things I want to talk about on the stock market today. One of the big things is we saw a few different companies. There was GameStop, and happened actually in Massachusetts, right? Was the beginning of this whole GameStop thing where retail investors, that means you and me, regular people that aren't the hedge fund managers, that don't have millions to billions of dollars, that influence the market. The market is not what we think it is, right? We think it's just a fair opportunity to compete. But you have companies that have literally billions of dollars that they can put into a stock, right? What happens if you flood a stock with billions of dollars? It'll go up. And everyone else sees that. And what do? They want to catch on to it. So they all start investing. Us retail investors see it. It's like, wow, that stock is going crazy. I want to get some of that. I want to make that money. I want to get rich too. You start throwing your money into it. And that's what they call, quote unquote, dumb money. Because you don't have the financial tools, you don't have the information, and you don't have the connections that these hedge fund managers and these multi-billion-dollar investors do to know what's really happening behind the scenes. So it might be what they call a pump and dump, meaning pump a whole bunch of money into it, see the stock go up, and then take all that money out. After everyone gets in and you made a beautiful profit off of it, now you take all the money and just collapse the stock, pump and dump. You dump it. And all of a sudden the stock might have went up within a day, who knows, 30, 40, 50, 60, 100, 200, 300%. Take the money out, stock goes back to where it was or lower. And who's left holding the bag? Most likely is the people who didn't know, who weren't in the know. Typically me and you, retail investors. So this happened a lot, my friends, during the pandemic. So during the pandemic, we found ourselves in a situation with companies like Robinhood. Robinhood was a place where you can go to invest in the stock market, and it was free. So you didn't have to pay these large fees to become an investor. You could just invest for free. Now, one thing that I was told, and one thing I found to be true, is there's no such thing as free. When there's something that's free that you're being asked to sign up for or that you can sign up for, what does that mean? Ish, that needs to be said. Because most people don't tell you this. Most people don't tell you this. I'm going to. When you see that, what does it mean? It means that you, my friend, and me, we're the product that's being marketed. We're the product that's being sold. Access to us. So when Robinhood had their free accounts, it wasn't because it was actually free per se. It was because they were making money in some other way. How were they doing that? Well, they had another financial institution that was backing them or behind them, that when they sent over their orders, that financial institution will fulfill the orders for them and give them a little kickback for it, which is important. Okay. So give them a little kickback for it. But that financial institution had two different versions of itself. One that had the kickback aspect where they processed the orders, and the other one that was trading in the market, right? That was a hedge fund. Okay. So these two different things that could potentially be competing against themselves, and something that was supposed to be for the people. We're taking from the rich, now we're giving back to the people. And anytime you see anything that's talking about giving back, I'm going to talk about this more, but giving back to the people, be afraid, be very afraid, probably run. Because unfortunately, we've seen with all those things of recent times, they're just tools of manipulation. Meaning, when big money comes in, it's all going to change. And it's not going to be about the people. It's going to be about the manipulation of the people. It's going to be about how to fleece the people, especially financially. We've seen that time and time and time and time again, politically as well. I'll go into that more later, but I just wanted to put that out there because it's something for you to be aware of, my friends. That needs to be said. So now what happens with this Robinhood, you got GameStop, and then they had another movie place. But with GameStop, a fledgling company, and other hedge funds had bet against it, meaning you could have a good company, right? But there's other hedge funds and other investors that might bet against your company, that the stock's going to go down. And the more that they're betting against you, the more they're putting out information against your company and so forth. If there's no one else pumping in money to inflate that, usually your stock's going to decrease. You know, I'm not a financial advisor or investor or expert or anything like that. I'm just giving you some basics, behind the scenes stuff. But that's not my world. You know, go to the professionals that can tell you exactly how this stuff works, because I don't know all the ins and outs and everything else. Most of the people that are involved in it themselves don't know all the ins and outs of it, unfortunately. But they know how to play the game to a certain degree to be successful. And when you have large amounts of money, usually helps you to tilt the game in your favor. So now, an interesting part in Robinhood is that there was a company that was investing heavily against the GameStop stock rising, saying that it was going to go down. And then all the retail investors came in, and all of a sudden they kept pumping money into it, and they had what they called themselves the apes, right? Apes Apes together strong, like Planet of the Apes. Apes together strong, like Caesar. So they banded together and said, let's buy this and let's have diamond hands, meaning we're going to hold this stock. No matter what happens, we're not going to let go. We're going to be brave and bold enough. And typically what happens is you and me, retail investors, we're not that united. The people aren't united. That's how they can get over on us, because we're not united. And they know eventually they can either put in cracks into the seam or the cracks will naturally come. And then it will splinter and fall apart. People will invest for a little while and then they'll take out the money. Right? So they know eventually they'll win. But here they didn't have that situation because the diamond hands, the apes, they held strong. So what happened then? Well, where it gets interesting. So you have the company that was shorting the stock losing billions of dollars. They're not going to make it, right? Unless they get an infusion of capital, of cash, of money. So they have to call around to different people, different banks to get that money. One of the banks happens to be the bank that is working in conjunction with Robinhood. So this is where the two different aspects come together. So they lend that organization money. But now they have to make sure that they don't get hurt. So what do? Well, Robinhood, guess what? You're not making money from the people. You're making money from the stocks that the people are buying and that we're processing for you and we're giving you a kickback for. That's where your money's coming from. So we need you to halt trading on that stock, on GameStop. Make it so people can't buy it anymore. Halt trading. Take down the site. They even had the site taken down that people were using to come together, to communicate, to stay strong. They had the site stopped because of its content, they said. The site was Reddit. So all these things that the people who are powerful, quote unquote powerful, or just have a lot of money and influence are able to do to stop the progress of the people. The game ain't the game. How's that competing? How is that fair? How is that pulling yourself up by the bootstraps? How is that any of the nonsense that they tell us that this is supposed to be about? Or if you want to be a champion, you got to play the game the right way. Nope, that's not what it's about. If you want to be a champion in that arena, you want to make sure there's no competition that can stop you from getting to where you want to. And if there is, buy it, sell it, defeat it by any means necessary. Buy it, sell it, defeat it by any means necessary. So there is no competition, and you are the market. I'll say that again. So there is no competition, and you are the market. Think about that. I'm saying to you, you don't have to compete. Once you get to a certain level, have a certain amount of capital, you can control markets. You can control the people that make the laws about the markets. Congress had a hearing on this, all this during the pandemic. Congress had a hearing on this. Brought the people in from these different companies. Knew that fraudulent things happened. Had evidence to it. Had emails, everything else. Billions of dollars they took from people. Unrightfully so, because people understood how to play the game to win it. By the rules that they had set up. Not the rules they tell us that there are, because those rules don't exist. The rules that they said they are. They played it by their rules and were able to beat them. And they said, not so fast. Because if you do that once with this investment or hedge fund, you can do that with other ones and mess up our whole game plan of how now we have to compete. Now we have to watch what we're doing. Now we actually have to, the money's not so dumb anymore. The money's powerful. You become just like us. You're another player in the market that we got to be concerned about. Nope. Can't have that. Cannot have that. So these are the situations that we find ourselves in. The game is not the game. What they tell you is the truth of how to compete, of how to be successful. It's not the truth. That's not the rules they play by. And I mean those people that are the top 1% now that control the 90% of the wealth. They know how to play the game. They play by their rules, and they put out information to tell us this is, go to work, get a job, buy a house. That's how you become successful. My friends, it is not. You have to know the game that you're playing, and once you figure out the game that you're playing, they're going to change it to something else, and you have to know that too. But you have to be able to play it the way that you can play it for you to be successful and live a good life. Right now, with taxes and everything else, just working is not going to get you to a good, secure life. I mean, tax-wise, if you or me right now, just as individuals, were to make, say, let's make it simple, $1 million, right? Government is going to come and take 40% of that or more. Probably more, 50 to 60% potentially, but over 40%, more than likely. So now your million is not $1 million anymore. Your million is almost cut in half. If you're a corporation, you're taxed differently. You get the money first, and then you're taxed on whatever capital you have left over, whatever profits there are. So if you can show little to no profits by investing in other things, buying other companies, technology, whatever else, now you'll probably end up with a tax break, paying little to no taxes. That's how the game's played. That is how the game is played. And we don't understand that. But my friends, that's okay. It's okay. Because now is the time for us to understand it and see how we can make that change and make that difference. But only way we can do it is we as the people to come together. And I thought that was happening. Foolish me. Years ago, you remember this, before the ye old pandemic when we had the Tea Party? Sarah Palin. And before Sarah Palin got involved into the Tea Party was the grassroots for what we see today, what's happening today in the conservative movement. But the Tea Party, when they first came out, didn't say they were conservative. They just said they were about the best interest of the people, we the people. And I said, it's about time that we can get, it's about time that we can get another organization, another political party, potentially, to showcase and advocate for the best interest of we the people, to lobby for the best interest of we the people. Because we don't have that. We don't have an organization that can pull together the funds from we the people. It's supposed to be our own government and our own representatives, but our own representatives are going to be more influenced by the corporations that help to fund Congress, the members of Congress, and other aspects of government. So they rely on these corporations to help them get into office. And we don't have anything to counterbalance that, to represent our best interests, because that's how the game's played. The game's not played by your vote. To a degree, voting is important, but there's a larger dynamic. You have to vote, but you also have to be able to collaborate, to come together, to pool resources, especially capital, so that you can influence the politicians to get to where you desire to be. If you can't do that, you're going to be in trouble. You're going to be in trouble. So I thought the Tea Party was a change. I thought it was we the people rising up, but it wasn't. It was just the conservative movement, or that's at least what it became. Sarah Palin stepped into it Other people stepped into it, and then former President the Donald stepped into it. And that's why we are part of the reason why we are where we are today. Because it started as grassroots about things that, I cared about things that you cared about. The swamp does need to be drained. But these people weren't there to drain the swamp. They were there to hop in and create their own. Game ain't the game. Especially big money comes into it, because big money some way or another has to fund it, right? People need to get paid for the work that they're doing because that's how they have to live. So big money comes into it, then it becomes whatever they want it to be. I'll say that again for the people that didn't want to listen. Big money steps into it, and then it becomes whatever they want it to be. Even in local elections and city elections, we're starting to see small city elections, small town elections. We're starting to see big money enter in. And for big money, if they put in $14,000, which for many local campaigns is a lot of money, they put in $14,000, which is nothing to them. They can change the whole spirit of that city, the whole future of it, and back and put in the people that they want to do the things that they want them to do, because they're going to be indemnified to them for the money that they were given, even if they say they're not. That can't be the reality of it. If I'm putting up money, I'm putting up money for a reason, to protect my interest. And I believe you're going to be the best protector of my interest. And eventually I'm going to reach out, tap you on the shoulder. Hey, time for you to go to work. This is what I need from you. It's the way it works, my friends. That is the way it works. So, tell me what you think about that. Do you think I'm completely off? Do you think this makes complete sense? Because it's not about the things we want to hear. It's about the things that need to be said. And these are the things that need to be said. So I need us to rise up, to come together, to be together. And let's talk about how we can change these things. Because until we, the people, step up, stand out together, built upon a sound foundation of collaboration, of economic empowerment, of capital, so that we can have influence upon the people who are writing the laws, with the vision of what we want to have in place for our own best interest, to protect our best interests. Until we do that, we'll lose, always. So we have to start that process. Now is the time. This is the place, and we are the ones. No one else is coming. Anyone else that's coming is coming to do the opposite. They're coming to keep pumping us like we're ATM machines. How much more can I get out of you? And how much less can I put into you? I'm going to make you pay for more. Make you pay for more of your health insurance. Health insurance goes up and skyrockets. You got to pay more of it. All these things. My friends, I'm Dominic Copeland, and this is the Ish That Needs to Be Said. Time for us to stand up, rise up, come together, and not in a way where we're going to, it doesn't have to be violent. Change doesn't have to be violent, but change has to be changed. Things change every day. So let's make them change in our favor. We must come together, collaborate, build those resources to have the capital to put in place the influence that we need to get the things that we desire out of this game called life. This is the time. Believe. No matter how dark it may get, believe and hold true to the vision and continue to move forward. Can't stop everybody. Can't stop all of us. Unite. Hit the like button. Subscribe. Join me again next time for the Ish That Needs to Be Said. Let's do it, my friends. Let's come together. Let's rise. Talk to you soon.